So I want to be able to share with you how to be able to create an offer that's somewhere between 5, 10, or even 25,000 that you can go out and sell. And so what does this actually look like? A lot of people talk about it online, but what does it look like under the hood? So I want to be able to draw this out for you so that you could be able to package it. And if you can package it, you might be able to sell in the next 30, 60, or even 90 days. Now, I've been able to generate millions of dollars selling my programs online. I believe I'm one of the best coaches in the world at helping people package offers that people want to buy and making it fun for people to buy from you. And I don't just share that because of my own biased opinion, but I have pages and pages of documented stories as I've been working with people for over a decade. And I know a lot of business coaches, and I have a lot of stories that have been proof to what I've been able to help people do. And so anytime I talk about my own successes, I like to start out by highlighting someone in our community. And today, I want to be able to highlight Niccie. Niccie actually came into our community and had a lot of offers. She had courses for this and memberships for this and books for this and services for this. And so as you can imagine, the more offers you have, the more complex your business is. And so what we did is we helped Niccie restructure her offering in a way that just brings massive value in one container and just focus on selling that really well. And what we were able to do is in Niccie's very first launch with us, she was able to generate over 70,000. And now she's gone to generate hundreds of thousands since. And I'm going to document her case study and story down below in the description as I hope that it inspires you. So what does it look like to generate an offer that's 5, 10, 15, or even 25,000? What does it look like under the hood? Well, I want to give you my mind on offers because this is a skill set that can determine which zip code you live in. It determines whether you live on this side of the railroad or this side of the railroad. It determines whether you get to travel to Tahiti in Fiji or whether you're taking a vacation in Joshua Tree in the desert with the tent. Nothing is wrong with taking a trip to Joshua Tree. I'm sure it can be fun if you have the right people with you, but you get what I'm saying. This skill set is the skill set that allows you to really generate success and wealth or stay stuck in a cycle. So I want to be able to give you my mind on how to create these offers. Now, I'm going to be personally sharing with you my personal model so that you can see how I lead my clients, but I understand that you don't do what I do. You might help people in the area of relationships. You might help people in the area of health. You might help people in the area of a service you provide. So I want you to be able to take what I'm teaching, stir it up, take the chicken, leave the bone, meaning apply the model of what I'm about to share with you for what I do to what you do so that you can be able to take the pieces that can enhance your offer so that you can make way more. And I hope that today it gives you increase to be able to go out in the world and make way more confidently. Okay? So before I draw on this board here, one of the mistakes that I see when people are selling their services is they sell a lot off of emotion, and that's very taught in this space. People sell their services off of the emotion, and they're promising the result. I can help you, lose X amount of pounds in 30 days, or I can help you, be able to heal your relationship and build better connection and intimacy. I can help you break your limiting beliefs and grow in your identity, right? I can help you grow your business and generate leads. And they're relying on the promise in order to get the client. And you can do that if the client trusts you. Sure, they might invest with you, but it's very dangerous to sell like that because if they don't know exactly what they're going to get, you can get the client that says, hey, I was not expecting us to do this. I was expecting this. Or, hey, I'm not getting results in the program. I thought you were going to be more hands-on and more supportive. Turns out it's not that way. And then you get buyer's remorse. So my philosophy on selling offers is to be able to have radical transparency so that your clients know exactly how you're going to lead them from where they are to where they want to be so that they can have the opportunity to say yes to your pathway and your runway to get them results so that they're clear, not only emotionally, they're involved, yes, because of where they want to go, but they're clear logically on how you're going to get in there and why your price is what you're asking for. Because if we're going to ask someone for 5, 10, or 15, or even $25,000, we better be very clear on the value we're bringing and the return that they're going to be able to get for the value that we're bringing. And so I'm about to draw it out in a moment. And when I say return, sometimes it's not always in the terms of finances, but let's say, for example, you help someone step into greater identity as your service and you do spiritual work. Well, then if you do that, think about the value of someone who steps into greater identity, greater confidence. Then they become more productive. They step into purpose next. Now they can go out and make impact. So there's return on that, right? If we're talking about health, if someone could have better energy, now they can go out and be more productive and make greater moves into the society and feel better. What is that? I mean, people spend 2 or 3, even 5 grand on a vacation. How much did you spend on your last vacation? And how long did that last you? It lasts you for a weekend or a good time. But when we talk about services that can impact people's lives or better their lives, what is the real value of that? And we got to do a great job as entrepreneurs of articulating that service, because if you're going to encourage someone to, separate money from their wallet, people are willing to do it as long as we're very clear on how there's going to be a return to the price that we're asking for. And that's selling with integrity. So what I want to do is I want to teach you something that I call modeling. And so the way this works is, let's say, for example, I have a process that we'll call this here, we'll say packaging. We'll say promoting. And then we'll say people and process. So when I'm leading a client, one of the things I let them know, I say, hey, these are the 3 Ps that we're following, right? So one of the things that we're going to focusing on packaging is we first want to be able to get really dialed in your messaging. And I need to be able to make sure that you know your bold promise, because marketing begins with a promise. That's how we market anything we do. We're promising a result that we could bring to the client. The second thing that I want to be able to help you with is I need to be able to make sure that you are able to develop what I call a bridge campaign. We need to package a bridge campaign, and a bridge campaign is designed where you're able to take somebody who's in a cold audience and have a pipeline to help them become a client. The third thing I'm going to do is I need to be able to make sure that you know how to be able to generate traffic and volume, and so we need to be able to package promotions that we could be able to lead you with traffic and volume, because I know that if I can help you generate leads daily, then it's going to be hard for you to fail. And so I'm going to call this here daily lead gen. And that's one of my goals with my clients, is I need to make sure that they're generating leads every single day, because if they're generating leads daily, it's hard to not be successful, right? If you ever think about a time you were frustrated, you're like, I had this great offer, I just need more people to sell it to. So we're helping our clients with that. Now on the promoting side, I want to be able to make sure that they're really great at having strong event conversions, and that they're converting through virtual events, workshops, that type of thing, because most of people that are selling services are the people that I often work with. Their clients need more education before they buy. They need more trust before they buy. So we have those containers. I need to be able to make sure that they have the proper sales conversions so that they are converting the leads that are coming in over 30%. And then I need to be able to make sure that they have content conversions, that they have content that converts, right? So that their promotions are dialed in at converting their audience into clients. The next thing is I need to be able to make sure that they have scalable onboarding. If their business breaks because of the marketing we put in place, well, then there's no fun in that. So I need to be able to make sure that they have a process that can continue to scale onboarding. I need to make sure that they have proper delivery and delegation, right? So that they have delegated their marketing, they delegated the customer support, they delegated the things that are taking their time from actually moving the needle forward. And then I need to be able to make sure that they have the systems in place to scale, right? So that all this runs without them. And what this does is, this is my process that I lead my clients through. So they can generate 6 to 7 figures, so they can, and then I let them fill in the blank of what matters to them. Why does this matter to them, right? So when we think about the pathway, our 3 Ps, being able to help package, promote, and people and process, when I think about that, it's like, you know exactly what you're going to get working with me, right? I've laid it out for you. You know we're going to help you with your messaging. We're going to help you with your campaigns. We're going to help you generate traffic and volume. We're going to have the right conversion tools in place with our event conversions, sales conversions, content conversions. We're going to work on scalable onboarding, delivery and delegation, and systems to scale. So you know exactly what to expect coming into the program. I'm not just selling you on the emotion, right? And then what that leads us to is this other category of what are the tools going to be, right? What are the tools that we're going to help you be able to reach your goals? So a lot of times people, have you ever done this before? You've created all these worksheets or workbooks, or you've done all of these extra bells and whistles that sometimes they don't really add value to the client. We do it because we think that it would be fun to have. Well, we don't want to just add more stuff for the sake of adding more stuff. What are going to be the things that they actually need to get results? I want to share those with them. And then I also want to be able to share what the experience is like. So what is it going to look like working together? What does onboarding look like? What does it look like on a week-to-week basis? What does support look like? And this is this next one here. What is the level of support going to be like for them, right? Are we working with them one-on-one? Is it a group? Are they getting assigned a project manager? Are they getting assigned an accountability coach? What is going to be the experience look like so that they're clear on what we call the model, the tools, the experience, and the support? So that when they say yes to the price that you're asking, then it's a yes, not just off of emotions, but they see how you're going to get them there. Think about this like a vehicle. You're saying, I'm going to take you from LA to New York. This is how we're going to get you there. And this is what the experience is going to look like so that there's transparency. And then what we get to do is the fun part is we get to look at this here and we say, okay, well, based off of what we're bringing here as the result, based off what we're bringing here, what is the price that we're going to be able to charge, right? What is the price based off of the value here? And what this does is it actually allows us to look at our value objectively versus based off of entitlement. Entitlement is where you say, oh, well, based off of who I am, my price is worth 25 grand because I'm worth it. Well, how are you worth it, right? What's the usability? What's the experience like? Well, now we could back it up by what you're actually sharing with the client and what you're providing them. So then now we get to look at the price and go, what would this be if we're going to provide all this value to help them, in this case, generate 6 to 7 figures? Well, I would say that the price for this is at least going to be 10K because I'm not getting a percentage of all of this revenue, right? They're going to go on and generate, a lot of income from what we teach, but I don't get all that revenue. So let's just say in this case, it's 10K. Well, is that worth it to be able to get this result, right? And we get to look at that based off the market and what the market's willing to pay for, right? Now, if I'm selling to a higher level influencer, now this package might be 25K because they already have an audience. So once I teach them, it's gonna amplify the results I bring. And so it's not just about what I'm selling, but who I'm selling it for, right? Or who I'm selling it to. So when we think about packaging a 5, 10, and 15K offer, some questions to ask is, what is your model? What are you leading them through? What's the experience like? What is the tools and what are the support? If you were to just take this here and come up with your own process and map out these milestones and map out all the tools and the experience and the support, and you were to really look at it and go, what is the result that I'm bringing? What is this worth? And then ask yourself, what is it worth at a high level? And that becomes your high tier, right? What is this worth to the influencer, the executive, the higher end person? What is this worth to most people in the market, the 80%? And then what is this worth to somebody who's just struggling, who wants the result but just can't afford it? And now we get to determine how we deliver this. Maybe on your high tier, you're delivering this more one-on-one. Maybe in the mid tier, you're delivering it more with them. And then maybe on the low tier, this can be more self-paced, but it's all still one offer. So when I think about creating 5, 10, 50, 25K offers, I think about the user experience, the usability of it, the result being generated, right? What's that like? What's the IP in your program? Like, does somebody else have what you're doing, right? And the way you're doing it. That creates demand because they can't shop you. Have you ever shopped somebody before where you're like looking for the better price? Like, oh, I feel like I could get a better price over here, right? So you go hire that person. It's fun when you're the shopper, but it's not fun when you're being shopped, meaning that other people are trying to compare you versus someone else. The way you prevent that is this. You have your IP, your intellectual property, and people can only find those solutions working with you. So when you make the sale, it's beautiful. because they're not just saying yes based off of emotions, they're saying yes based off of how you actually help them, and they're clear so that they don't come back going, oh, well, I thought you were going to teach me this. Where you're like, hey, that's not what we discussed. It's here, right? So there's transparency, and that's why what's been beautiful is, over the last decade, we've had less than like a 0.001% refund rate. We have an incredible reputation with our merchants because we're very transparent before we allow anyone to buy from us. So that also attracts the right kind of clients. So then we feel good about it and they feel good about it, right? So some questions to think through is, what are your models? What are your tools? What are your support? What are your experience? Map it out, and then ask yourself, what's the result and what would be the price to somebody who's successful that this would be a huge impact for? What would be the price to everyday people? And then how can I price this to serve even the little guy who's just struggling, who's needing a start? So you can help people all different levels. And when you think this way, it makes it just feel so aligned and so good, not only for you, but transparency from the client. And that's what people are looking for. They want to buy from somebody who is transparent. So I hope this helped you increase today. And if you like this video, I'm going to put a link in the description to a workshop we have coming up. It's free for you to sit on. You can't buy anything during the workshop. And what's beautiful about it is you get to ask questions. We get to actually build out some exercises together and do some of the work on. We're doing some really cool stuff with AI right now that I think you would also be impressed by. And I think it would add tremendous value to you and be worth the time that is there. But in order to be able to sit on that, there's a link in the description. You can go ahead and click on that and join us if it's a fit. And it would be an honor to have you on. So I hope you got clarity on what it looks like on the inside to lift up the hood to create a 5, 10, 15, 25K offer. And I hope this helped you increase today.